Welcome to the Circle of M. I'm your host, Marcus Smith II. On this show, we unmask the feelings that cause anxiety and depression. We talk to guests who share their stories about mental health and life and how they overcame just adversity. Today, we have a special guest who is a good friend of mine, Super Bowl champion, played in the league for 9 years, 10 years. He played a long time, man. It's just somebody good to talk to, just to have a conversation and really, man, talk about some of the things that's going on in the world today, man. I am proud to announce my good guy, Najee Goode, man. What's going on, man? How you doing?
What's up, man? It's a pleasure to reconnect with you, bro.
Bro, it's always been a pleasure, man. And I feel like you were one of the guys, because I always talk about BG, I talk about T. Cole, you know, a lot of the guys that kind of like ushered me in Philly. And you were one of the guys who did that for me. But on this show, we always start off with a segment, tapping in. You know, what's your mood like? How you feeling today? Obviously, you know, you were telling me you dropping the girls off, you in daddy mode, right? So just tell me what you've been up to. What's your mood like? How you feeling today?
Man, I'm in dealing with my girls, bro. It's always happy, man. I always say that I got, you know, everybody say this about their kids, but I got perfect kids, man, for right now at 5 and 6 years old.
Yeah.
They one of them in the first grade, the other one is in pre-K, and they are everything, man. They actually make the day a whole lot better no matter what's going on. And I try to make sure that I compliment that, that behavior and that personality instead of, being drained in it or being a light to them, being a beacon of, they're happy, I'm happy. And bro, they do everything in the world for me.
Man, so is it fulfilling when you see them like as they grow? Because I have a daughter too. My daughter, she just turned 4. Yesterday? No, it's 2 days ago. She turned 4, and it's just, man. Thank you, bro. It's just for me. It's just I'm so happy to see like me in her. Like, do you have those moments where you just like, wow, like that's definitely my daughter? Like some of the stuff that you see her do.
Oh man, like all the time. My oldest daughter and I have the same birthday. So we went to Cali, took the whole family to Cali for the birthday. It was crazy, man. She had a great time. And my youngest, even though my oldest and I have the same birthday and we share a lot of similar, traits, my youngest is the one that looked like me when I was the youngest, like when I was born, So she like me, she act, man. She's, I call them thing 1 and thing 2, bro. And when you see kids learn from going from being babies and kids, to me, what's so amazing about just children in general is like when you see them learn and they click, and then you understand like how your different patterns are between your kids. And just to see the second one, man, have a different personality than the first, and it's still happy and everything like that, bro. I mean, it's something that I thank God for every day.
Yeah, man. Same here. Like I have a son too, so my son is like his mother, like just, very, quiet, preserved, you know what I'm saying? But still fun and still happy. And these are like the best years. So I want to go back to when you were drafted, man. Obviously you went to West Virginia. We played y'all. I think I was freshman, sophomore.
Yeah, we used to have some bangers.
So, being at West Virginia, pivotal time in your life, and, playing football, doing the things. But when you got drafted I think you got drafted to Tampa, right?
Yep.
Talk about that experience, being drafted to Tampa and then being cut and then finding your role coming to Philly. Like, what was that experience like for you?
Man, it was crazy, man. It was jarring. Like, I remember my senior year in the spring, I just pretty much worked out and took a couple classes and, just trying to figure out what was going on. And then I got to feel the hype of like, what it was like, going through the combine process and then playing in the, in the East-West All-Star game. And then, just being around everybody, at the actual combine, and that whole process was like real uplifting and enlightening, man. But it was also nerve-wracking because I got drafted, which I was happy about. Funny enough, I got drafted in the same round as my dad. So like I had some guidance in terms of that, like what to think and how to feel. But that whole first year, man, my rookie year it was crazy, man. I was miserable. I wasn't healthy. I didn't want to really tell anybody. And, it was like, you got to come in and make a splash because you drafted, you feel the pressure. We had a new head coach at the time. So it was crazy to deal with all of that, man. But luckily, man, I had some support to definitely help me out. My brother moved down with me and he played ball. He played arena, played in the league for like, a cup of coffee, but he was there. He understood, understood the work that it takes. And what I would say, man, at that age, and to have that type of responsibility, making that kind of money, bro, it's not an easy adjustment for anybody in the world. And, I had some support. Wow. I didn't make the best of it, but I did pretty good for myself, and I'm not complaining at all because I was able to still stay in the NFL and, focus on my craft enough to keep playing.
Bro, you know what's so crazy, man? I was just talking about, like, when you are either undrafted, lower round drafted guy, like you really don't have as much stability as like a first or second round, maybe. Like I made so many mistakes when I was with the Eagles, but because I was a first rounder, they had money invested. So like I had a little bit more leeway. But when people don't really understand, like you trying to make your mark, you kind of, the mentality is you have to fight through some of your injuries because you got to make the team. And sometimes that could be mentally draining. Would you say the same thing, that it could be mentally draining having to go through, your injuries and then making the team, and then actually when the season starts, that's when everything, like you got to go when the season starts.
Yeah, man. I remember like it was yesterday, the last cut to my rookie year because I had a real bad like almost like a fracture on my toe, big toe. So, I like it was terrible. I was getting shot up and taking pills all preseason.
Oh, and,
man. Man, it was crazy, man. I remember like that last week just like waiting for a call to see like, I played good in like only one game. And it was hard to even practice. We practiced against the Patriots when Aaron Hernandez was still alive, man, and they had Jeffrey Demps and all of that. So, like, it was crazy, dog. We was going up against, like, juggernauts. And when TB was over there, bro, and, like, I just remember being so tired, bro, and being so beat up, even in one play in the game. I just let the dude knock me clean out. Just, like, hit me, bro. Like, I was so dead. And I was just like, oh, I know. After that performance, I know I might be done. And what really stuck was like the last game of the preseason. I had a really good game and whatever, but like just going through that process, bro, being that nerve wracking and the pressure, like knowing, a lot of normal people don't understand. Like we don't get paid until like you make the team. I think it's actually worse for guys like 4 through 7 because when you get drafted like that, the team is taking a chance on you. They pay you a little bit of money, but then if you don't pan out, like your rep gets ruined because it's like, oh yeah, this dude was a draft pick, but you know what I mean? Like he really, he really didn't pan out to what we thought, you know what I'm saying? Like he was a disappointment. And then you get labeled, man. And there's too many labels that's even placed on athletes, between athletes and between teams and coaches that a lot of other people don't recognize as well. And it's like, nah, you got to learn like the skills or the strengths of that dude. So going through that process, bro, and being drafted was cool, but it almost looked like something that wasn't real. Like, you know what I mean? People thought that, like, oh, you got drafted. Like, oh, you about to be an instant millionaire, this, and that. I'm like, nah, bro. Like you got to go through this whole entire process just like everybody else. Yep. And I remember when you came through, you had to do the exact same thing. You the first round pick. So, like, it ain't different for nobody.
Nope.
But, you know what I mean? Like, when I came in, just getting – I'll never forget that, too, the process of that first year. Came in the first year, and then when I got cut and waived to the Eagles, like, I had my family like telling me before I knew, and then I went down to the general manager's office, and he was like, "Yeah, you are now a Philadelphia Eagle," and I was just like, "Bro, I just bought a house here, like in Tampa. Like I was like really ready to like come in the second year, do my thing, everything under my belt, bro." And it was just like the business of the game took over that whole entire aspect, and once that happened, it just triggered a whole different thought process in my mind because it's like they don't do this in normal jobs. If you're an associate or your first year, like when you come in, they ain't about to give you nothing. Even if they do give you a signing bonus, they move you there. They ain't about to make it public or make it known. Like you get treated the exact same way. And people don't realize the brutality of the business in that aspect.
Yeah, because you just bought a house and like you think like you about to reside in Tampa, right? And you get uprooted and now you got to fly up north. You got to go. You got to go to Philly. And but the thing about it is, it's your job, and this is what you love to do. So they kind of play on that, right? It's what you love to do. So if we trade you, you got to go. It's like you can't say, oh no, I don't want to go there. Nah, this is my livelihood that we talking about. So that plays on our mental big time too. When I was talking about the other day, man, it's just so many uncertainties when it comes to football, when it comes to guys who, like more so, I talk to the guys who, like, don't really get a chance in the league and then, like, that play, like, 1 or 2 years and, like, their mindset is like, oh, I'm going to be playing for a long time, but then the game is over before they wanted to. But when you look at your career, man, you went through some stuff in the beginning, right? But then when you got to Philly, you start to, to find your niche. You started to find your way. What was the feeling like being able to have some sort of security and knowing that you could play and that being in Philly was, a better place than the situation you had came from in Tampa?
Yeah, man, it was cool to be with a team that actually felt like they wanted you, but at the same time, man, the business always found a way to creep back into the relationship.
That's what I was going. That's what I was gonna go there. No, but keep going.
No, yeah, like it was cool, man. It was like, when I was in Philly, I definitely like felt respected, even though went through the whole torment with the fans, and everybody go through that just because of Eagles fans. Like everybody know in the world how Eagles fans are, bro. They got their own TV show. They got their own show about parking. Like,
Yeah.
everybody damn world know how Eagles fans
It's
are,
a
and like,
jail in the stadium.
yeah, man, and it's worth every second of it if you're there, because it's like that's the culture of the city. But like, I mean, it was cool, man. It was definitely cool to be involved in that and be on the right side of the fence in terms of like being seen as a celebrity, being in the city. But man, the business, like, it definitely found a way to get back into the relationship in terms of just, trying to find the best and, go through the BS that you go through with the team, and it's politics and everything, man, because
Yep.
in general, just in business alone, it's controlled by humans. People are gonna have they're gonna have favors towards whatever their personal benefit is, whether that's somebody that they think is somebody else, whether they like a certain behavior. You know what I mean? There's so many different ways to do it. So like, you go through that no matter what. And I went through it just like every other player goes through it. And like, that part of the job, bro, was terrifying, nerve wracking. It was just like, knowing certain things didn't have to be a way that you couldn't control. That's what football forces you to do if you are good enough to stay in the league. Like you and I, we play in the league. You got to deal with things that you can't control. And really, those are the type of things that athletes need to be educated on, at being paid a higher than anywhere else salary and still not being able to control your own situation, because that's a very, very interesting perspective that not a lot of people understand, because all a lot of people do is associate money and fame with power, when you
Yeah.
can have money, but you don't have power.
Right.
Or you can have fame and you don't have power because you're not the one that's actually being put out there to be, you're not the one that's controlling the strings to be famous. So
Right.
like, really going through that, and everybody else on the outside, like, thinking, it is what it is. And I'm just like, bro, I'm going to this 2-bedroom apartment, 1,500 square feet. That, what I'm saying? That's just like yours at the end of the day, bro. It was super eye opening to me, man. And like, I always lived below my means anyway, just because like
Right.
where I grew up from, man. Like Philly and Cleveland, not too different in terms of just how the city is and being a city dude, but it was different, bro. It was eye opening. That's why I love Philly, because it can get real in the streets in a second, but you can still live luxurious, but it costs a whole lot of money though.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, I hated Philly for a long time, but then I realized like Philly is why I am the way I am today. Like they helped me build like thick skin. You know what I'm saying? Just in terms
Oh,
of
yeah.
like being confident in myself, because the whole my first 2 years, bro. Well, the first year, bro, my confidence was shot. I played terrible. Like I didn't even think I was worthy to be out there with y'all. And then my second year comes, and I'm actually doing pretty well, doing stuff better. Then I popped my hamstring in camp, right? So then it's like, stuff just keeps happening. But then, when I think about you and I think about your career, and it's like the business kept creeping back into the stuff that you really couldn't control. And you talked about like the stuff that we can't control with the business side and the general managers. But man, you got a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? You got a Super Bowl out of it. Before we go to the Super Bowl, were there any points before that where you felt like giving up? You felt like just like, man, you know what, man, I'm done. And then you you didn't, and then you happy that you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I never forget, man. I got released by the team, and just for whatever reason, man, reason I couldn't control. And I was literally about to go to the airport to fly to another team, and my flight was delayed. And that's literally the only reason why I didn't go to go sign with this other team, dog. Like literally the only reason. Like my flight got delayed, and in that time of my flight being delayed, I reworked out the situation with with Philly, and I was just like, damn, that was God like saying something else, because my life would have been totally different. Like totally different.
Yeah.
And just even to where I was at personally in my life would have been totally different, because at the time I wasn't with anybody. I was like doing kind of whatever. And I just think about like where I'm at now with my daughters and stuff like that, bro. It's like it's split second decisions like that with the amount of money that athletes make and all of that people don't understand. Like those are life-changing decisions no matter what to anybody when you got to relocate. But when you put behind that much that goes into it, when it's money, family, people, bro, the stress of that is multiplied by an infinite amount. That like it was crazy to kind of go through it, and it made me feel like, all right, then maybe I should be here, because I literally should have been signing with this other team left, and I was ready to leave and just like put up the middle finger.
Yeah.
Like what I'm saying? Like just by standing there and going through that process, bro, and like really being like, all right, let me stay this year. That was in 2015, and then at 2016 that happened, and then all of a sudden came right back. I'm like, man, like this, like I think God might have a plan for me. And then we went to the Super Bowl, man, and I was just like, like the icing on top, because I was happy with being with the team, obviously wanting to go win a Super Bowl, but we were winning at the time, and then that just happened and elevated the space in the game, man. And
I ain't gonna lie. I remember seeing you and Brayman, bro. Like, boy, Brayman, I ain't never seen Brayman cry, bro. Brayman was out there.
Man, he was turned, man. Yeah, man, my dog, B, he had a crazy, he wasn't even on the team. He had back problems.
Yeah, I remember they had, I know Phil brought him back.
Yeah, bro, brought him back, and he came out there and balled, just like saying nothing changed, man. And I was just like, damn, like that's why it's like you love the game for what you go through and what you accomplish. And like no matter what, man, when you great at something, it takes the time and effort and energy that we put into it to get into the league. So like, right. It's something that I think people can grasp in terms of work ethic, because that's why they see and say athletes have great work ethic. But in terms of the stresses, man, and the split second knee jerk decisions and reactions you got to make, man, and the traumatizing things that just happen to athletes on a day-to-day basis or a year-to-year basis. Like most people that got jobs don't got to worry about moving every year. Like think about how traumatizing that is to get up and move. Like I'm moving right now, man. It is terrible.
Hey, I'm actually going through a new house too, bro, and it's like,
bro, it's ridiculous, because it's just something to throw on your plate that's like overall better for your long-term health, but like it ain't nothing that you about to sit here and like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just something that people don't think about that can add to like so many other realms of stress. Like when you get released from a team, like that shit that happened with me, bro. I was paying more in rent in Philly than I was paying for my mortgage. And I literally wanted to go burn my house. I'm like, it's ridiculous. Like I don't even understand why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And the worst decision that I think I made, like while I was playing, was selling my house. 100% G. Like I bought a house for $275, sold it for $414, and right now the house is worth close to $1 million. once that happened, bro, like I was just like, yeah, I need to rethink about a lot of stuff because it just, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of things, bro, that athletes got to deal with. And then we ain't even talk about the game. We ain't even talk about the plays that you missed. We ain't even talk about like, you know what I'm saying, or plays that you made.
That's where I was gonna go. Like, what about the trauma of like because the league? We all know. I just talked about this literally. Like, we know the league is a move. They have a move on mentality, right? It's like next man up, next player, or anything like that. So, what about like the trauma of like actually somebody getting hurt on the field? Like the stuff that we don't realize, like the stuff that we see on the field and the stuff that we see happen. It's like it's traumatizing to us, but we are conditioned to think like we can't think about that. Like, because what they do in practice if somebody get hurt, right? Somebody get hurt in practice, they move the ball up or they move the ball backwards, so they can attend to that play. And then we got to just keep practicing, right? Yeah, we can ask, oh man, what happened to him or whatever. But in some instances, if the guy is not the guy, you may not see him ever again. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's stuff like that. But I want to get to. We talked about the Super Bowl. This was a amazing time for you. I'm so happy for you that you went through those things. And you still were going through things. But what I noticed about you, bro, was that you always was working on something outside of football. Now for me. For 2 years, man, like I struggled with finding my identity. Did you always know your identity, like why you was playing and what you wanted to do outside of the game?
I didn't always know it because to be G, bro, like I went through some stuff when I tore my pec. I tore my pec my contract, my third year in the league. A lot of people don't even know. I tore my pec in the first game of the season when I was supposed to be starting and taking over for D'Amico Ryans, me and Mike Kendricks. A lot of people don't even know that, bro. Like it was, yeah. I tore my pec at the first game of the season. We signed back Acho. Man, I went on like a heavy binge. I got all types of prescription drugs. Bro, I was traveling everywhere because I was on IR, but had to stick around the team. So like that just made me go crazy. And went through a whole binge myself of just trying to like figure out what was going on. And then I met my business partners because we all went to West Virginia at different times, but we met back up at a game. I was just taking a trip, bro, and just ran into them. And them dudes, like for real, legit saved my life because it was just a bad time, because I got traded up there, came in 2013, balled out, 2014, was projected to start, play a whole lot.
I remember that, bro. I remember.
Yeah, and it was bone jarring, bro. It was like psychologically, I thought my life was over. Like I was just like, I'm about to be done. I'm about to I'm hurt. Ain't nobody about to do nothing or whatever. I'm cool. And on top of that too, I messed up my shoulder, tore my pec, blew out my shoulder. So I'm like, I ain't gonna be able to tackle nobody. And it was crazy, bro. And then I found VPO, and just the simple fact that I was able to like do some stuff creatively that I like to do with VPO, it kind of like rubbed me in the right way to think that like, all right, you might be able to do something that you like. And then we started to take more interest into the league, and I was just like, damn, I'm kind of doing some of the same things that I do on a day-to-day basis. I just got to, focus a little bit more on it. But I was able to like kind of find my identity in, man, truly just being around us. You know what I'm saying? Being around like, you and me and like platforms like this, bro, and what we do. I was able to, luckily enough, work with the right business people that can help support some of the ideas that, we can grow the impact and grow the audience and grow the, the nostalgia of what players like, you and I are trying to do, bro. And that is what I've like just seen from my own personal self. I like to overextend myself to people in ways that I had to learn that like to control it. And like now that I know how to, been around business a little bit more to understand like how transactions work, how dedicated you got to be to do a good job.
8:15.
My bad.
No, you good. We're going to have to keep that in there.
Yeah.
8:15.
Yeah, bro. It was crazy, man. And it literally just developed into what, I did because of how closely it's related to the game.
Yeah, I remember when you first, because it was early. I think it may have been because you 2 years ahead of me.
Yeah, bro. Your rookie year is actually the first year we pitched the team.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, where are you now with it and your business endeavors and everything that you? Because I remember when I stopped playing, I was at the Super Bowl. I remember you was doing it at a Super Bowl event, and I always admired that about you. So where are you guys now with what you're doing?
Yeah, man. We our company is still scaling, but we in a really good spot. We doing a partnership with 10 teams. We got a tour for a sponsor that we working with, and we still doing everything that we do with monetizing media, making everything interactive. We still got a huge edge. We just got awarded our patents not too long ago from 2016, 15 and 16. We just got awarded our patents. So company is in a really good spot, man. And if you go to the Eagles game, you'll see our logo come across any screen.
Let's go.
Yeah, we really, man, working with extending the messaging in the right way of the league and the alumni groups like the legends, the former players, and NFL alumni. We're extending those messaging to the players, but we're trying to put players in the right position to understand like they value the impact. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got fans and people from the crib people that still want to hear about you, as well as new people that want to know what's going on. Even if it's for a split second, there's a value in that. And we're able to capture that and put the best, most optimal message out there with our tech. And that's, now we're doing it with the teams. We've been doing it with the teams, but now it's more targeted with the teams, more targeted with the brands. We can work with any vertical. So we've been doing it really good, bro. Like this year should be fun. Next year should be even better doing something with the league. And it's all about really through what the teams I know, just now working with them, what they have come to understand more because the rest of the technology is like this is that, bro, like every platform is all about pushing, or not. A lot of platforms are all about pushing the creator, the influencer. And you have to do it in a way in business to where it's beneficial to everybody, even the customer. And what we found out is a way to do it to where even when the customer does transact and spend money, they get that value prop out of the business. They get that value prop out of the influencer that's pushing the product. And they also get the value prop out of what they paid for so they can either use it again or they can learn more about it or they can watch our podcast and click on your jacket to see what you're wearing. They can watch your highlight videos and click on your products to how you scored that touchdown, how you made that sack, how you cut off the edge like that. You know what I'm saying? And then as an influencer, you know that you made the impact because that was your content or you are involved with content that's being sold with our technology. And we're able to elevate the whole entire experience for everybody.
Dang, man. That's what's up, man. I remember that time. And man, what you're doing now is very important. And you keep going, bro. I always admired that. And that's kind of part of the reason why I became a life coach. Still have to finish up my certification, but I am a life coach. I still talk to different players, talk to regular people too as well. But that's why I started for like situations like Tua, those things that happen because, I want to insert myself on the field in the league somehow. To be the bridge for the players, to be able to talk some sense into them, to make sure that they are making the best decision for them and their family and not necessarily, quote unquote, the team, because we're conditioned to, all right, we got to go back out there. We got to go back out there for the team. But into a situation, he can, at the end of the day, you can't be at your very best if you're injured. And D'Amico used to tell me that all the time. He say, like, look.
Nah, you can't, man.
You know what I mean? Like, I had a torn hamstring, but he was like, what can you do right now? Because if you rush and try to come back out there, what's going to happen? You're going to get hurt again. Right? So it's just better to get all the way healthy so it doesn't happen again. And that's why the situation with Tua, I was like, man, I think it is about the team and what their protocols are, but we have to change the culture of us as a mentality on what we see, what we need to do, for the team. So if I'm falling all over the place, as the competitor in me is like, I want to go back out there. But you really got to think about when you're 30 and you're 40, right? Because when you're done playing, that's when you're gonna think about it. You're not thinking about it in that point in time. So what did you? I want to hear your take on the whole Tua situation and what you think about it. Not saying that we're bashing the NFL or anything like that, but what you would have done differently?
Nah, man, I like the first thing is when bro was stumbling, like it's like, man, like you got to know when it's time to play the pauses.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is like it's football and sports in general. Entertainment is a contradiction to your human behavior, bro. Like you're supposed to go out there.
That's the first time I heard that.
Yeah, bro. I mean, you gotta go out there and go play. You gotta be this dude. That what? Like, how much is 2 away, bro? Like, if you and I hit him right now, like, if we first off, we gotta catch him. If we was able to catch him and hit him, bro, like, I mean, get a good shot on him, man. He gonna take damage. So, like, he's trying to go out there and be more than what he needs to be at that moment because of his stature. Like, he was balling. Like, he wanted to stay at that high performing Tua, but like, bro, you just got shook up, and it don't matter who you are. Like, the best thing that fans need to understand is that when you watch a boxing match, bro, and you see a 250-pound boxer get knocked out, like that can happen to anybody at any given time on the football field. Like anybody, bro. So like just knowing that damage and you hurting your brain, bro, is that significant? Like, it's like, they should have, the team, I feel like, just in general, bro, like somebody else should have been like, come on, man. Like, like
you can't go back out there.
Yeah, bro, you can't go back out there. Like, and it's like for everything that did happen, we looking at the situation of what did happen because he did get hurt again. Just think if he would have sat out and he just came back, and maybe he would have got another head injury. But just think about how much lesser the effect would have been if it had been like a week delay. I'm still saying that he might have got hit in his head because you know if that happens. But like it would have been something better just in terms of that type of injury because it's too scary, man. Like I hurt my neck with one time in 2000, actually the Super Bowl season, bro, and it was like, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I was like legit afraid to go out there to hit people, like just because I didn't know what was gonna happen. And then the uncharacteristic, inhumane part of me was like, man, F that, bro. You about to get paid. Go out there and knock yourself out. So it's like, I think that with his situation, bro, I think that more people around him should have told him like not to do it. And it's hard to come from the players because at the same time, you want your dog to be out there with you. You want the best player to be out there with you. So like, I don't even know if I would have been like, all right, you look good, even though you went through that. I don't even know if I would have been like, man, yeah, you still don't need to play because you wanted to play.
But see, that's exactly why you got to have somebody who is a player rep who is not playing, but can talk some sense into him, like, hey, because at the end of the day, the consultant that they have who knows everything about the brain and whatever, blah, 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 like, they haven't been in the white line, so they can't fathom and understand why he wants to go back out there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's the problem. So, ending this excellent interview with my guy, I feel like I know you. What would you tell someone, or how about this? What would you tell your younger self going through what you went through earlier in your career, knowing what you know now? Like, what would you tell your younger self?
Man, I would tell my younger self, just knowing what I'm learning in business now and learning what I did good and bad on the field, is like, prepare better. Yeah. Simple as that. Just take the time to prepare better, because like, I think in that just general statement, if you prepare in a more efficient way, it does everything to everything. It allows you to be on time. It allows you to recognize situations, bro. Like, time is something that's immeasurable. Like, we can't get it back. It's the most valuable thing.
Man, bro, I really appreciate the insight. I appreciate you coming on to the show, man. You are still one of my good friends. Still look up to you in the business world, man. You're doing great things. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop. And I know it's younger guys in the NFL that can hear this, that can see that they're more than football players, that they can have something outside of football that can give them joy and, give them, solitude and just where they are in life. So And I appreciate you coming on once again, man. You heard it from the horse's mouth. Najee Goode, former Super Bowl champion, Philadelphia Eagles, 9-year vet. And we are out. This is the Circle of M.